5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Strange Planet Podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Strange Planet Podcast, the strangest of all the podcasts on the strangest of all the planets. We are your hosts. This is
Corey James.
And
James May is muted.
James May is muted.
How am I muted?
There you go.
I'm James May.
We got you. And I'm Anthony Zevoteck. And joining us this week, we have a special guest. This is Mr. Shawn Kelly.
Hey, Shawn.
Howdy, folks.
Shawn Kelly. Thank you for hanging out with us. We took last week off. Took it off. People got pipes problems. You know. Too many pipes. That's the problem.
Too many
It's
pipes.
always-
But we're happy to be back this week. We got a good show lined up for you. Nice special guest. How's everybody's week?
Good. Hot.
So far, so good.
Hey,
Nothing, man.
it's early in the week. It's early in the week.
It's only fucking Tuesday.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for reminding me about that.
Yeah. Cripes.
I was off today and I'm off tomorrow, so I'm having fun.
I'm off Friday. I think I'm off Friday.
There you go.
I
Holiday
work
coming
Friday.
up.
I work Friday, but I get paid for Saturday too. So it's like a couple.
I work Saturday, but I get time and a half. So
Gotcha.
and I only work for
I'm supposed to have Friday off, but
okay.
I have to work Friday. But they pay me for Saturday and not pay.
Oh my
Like
God.
not work. Like they pay and I don't have to work. So that's cool.
We're on the move.
We're on the go, man. We're on the go.
Sean Kelly.
Hardcore Henry.
We're on the move. It's a chase. I feel like Benny Hill.
You guys need to text me to shut up. I should have my phone.
Just took a nice
probably
tour
a
of
good idea.
SPK's living room. Very good.
We got a sweet show today.
Yeah, we got a lot of cool topics. We got some interesting stuff to talk about. You guys want to get started?
Pop it.
How it goes.
Alright. So in the wake of the Black Lives Matter movement that has just recently been going on, of course it's been going on for years, but it really just after George Floyd, it kind of really started to take up. We have had a string of Hollywood actors, voice actors, who have, let's say, left the roles that they were playing characters of color, being white voice actors, voicing characters of color, and they've, there's a good many of them that have stepped down.
Yeah, we got Kristen Bell and Jenny Slate, who
Yeah.
were characters on Central Park and Big Mouth. They both stepped
Yeah.
down. They were the first ones to voice their opinions
Yeah, it
and
was,
step down.
It was Jenny Slate who went first, and the interesting thing about the character that she plays, Missy, on the show Big Mouth, is that it is a biracial character. It is the father is black and the mother is white and Jewish, and that's when Jenny Slate took the role. She felt she identified because of being white and Jewish, but in hindsight, she decided that it was better that she stepped down, opening the role for somebody of color to take.
May I add to that?
I was just about to go.
As a continuation of that, why is it the voice actor's part to not take the job offered to them? Why not question the writer, number one, and the person who cast the role, number two? That's in my opinion, that's where you focus first. Like, why do you request the presence of a person not of that ethnicity or race, whatever synonymous term you want to use? Why is it the voice actor's role or the actor who isn't requested to use.
Why did they step down, and why
talent.
didn't
Why
didn't their superiors
why,
say, hey?
Why don't you say, like, well, no, it was kind of like my deal. I was like, well, this person, I forget, I don't know, whoever you said.
Jenny Slate
And Kristen
Jenny
Bell.
Slate, why don't you ask her to not do, like, why did you ask her to do that? Why is it her job to do that, in your opinion, as the casting agent or the writer?
Were they asked to do that, or did they just do it on their own? You mean,
why
did they?
No, my thing is, you as an actor or a voice actor aren't like, well, that's my role. They're like, hey, we have this role.
Oh, you mean asked for
Would
the
you
role?
like to do that? They didn't ask for it. They were offered the role. They're like, well, okay, I know. And like you said, they possibly identified with the character. It's a biracial character. Okay, that's not the voice actor's fault.
Right. No, and no one.
So it's not their. They could have said no, but they're also like, I live in America and I need money. I live in the world and I need money.
Yeah, it's more, it's a conscious decision from the actor to step down from the role. And there's not been any public pressure.
Yeah,
and it's their decision to do what they perceive as the right thing.
Stepping down. No, I'm not talking about the stepping down, but why did
in the
they
first
have
place?
to, why were they forced to step down?
They
when
weren't.
It was okay before.
They weren't forced to step down. They did it on their own behalf.
There was no impromptu, like,
no. I don't know what. I know what prompted this, but what you're saying, that it's not like they were told by their bosses that they should do this.
Like,
it's not
you're
like
going to
the
lose
public,
your job and you'll never work in the.
It's not like even the public were like outcrying for this. It just kind of weirdly.
Okay, well that's even. I was not aware of that. I thought there was like a backlash or like, why did you do that?
No.
Okay.
Just as much.
Sean Kelly, let's hear what you have to say about this.
In addition to Big Mouth, which Kroll.
Right, Nick Kroll.
Nick Kroll.
And I mean, it's just a gang of friends. It wasn't like casting was this in-depth kind of thing. Most of the roles are given as, just this is my group. Where if you look at, I believe,
can you play this?
Right.
Right.
The group of, oh God, why can't jazz legend? I can't think of his name.
Oh yeah, he's all like, yeah, man, I'm doing it. Yeah, what? Oh, fucking, you're right. I know. Yeah, that's a great episode.
But additionally, you look at someone like Seth MacFarlane with Family Guy, who essentially it is a very tight group. He branched out into the Cleveland show, I can't think of the Space Force.
American Dad,
the Cleveland show, what Netflix space thing that he was doing.
Oh yeah.
But Mike Henry, the voice of Cleveland, and he also stepped down, and that was
right.
a voluntary action. So these are not necessarily causations of the backlash. These are the actors themselves being like, wait a minute, what I'm doing is not necessarily.
It's not certainly cool.
Right.
Yeah.
But on the
and
Robert Downey Jr., who did Tropic Thunder, we give him a pass. He did a hell of a job, in my opinion, and I've had this discussion with my biracial and black friends, and we're all like, "Oh, dude did a solid job." So it's not necessarily that casting was something that was, oh, we need to find a person of color. It was, this is my group of friends. These are the people that I would visualize or idealize as being these voice actors. But them having that conscious decision to step back from them speaks volumes to the strength of this movement and the emotions that it stirs within anyone that's involved.
Yeah. Well said, Sean. Very well said. as we've said before, Kristen Bell also stepped down. She was set to star in Apple TV's new animated musical series, Central Park. While she was also set to play a biracial character, she has decided to step down. She posted a statement on Instagram that was very well said, in my opinion. You can look it up if you want. If you don't want, that's fine too. Corey, what do you think about moving forward? I mean, this is a show that hasn't even come out yet. Are we going to be seeing a lot of changes to upcoming, programs due to everything that's going on?
I've been thinking about this all week. I've had a lot of conversations about it, and I after just hearing what Shawn said, yeah, it does speak volumes that they were the ones who kind of like thought about it and were like, I don't feel comfortable anymore. I shouldn't maybe have him in the first place and step back a little bit. But I personally, this is just me, my opinion. Animation and voice acting is such a different medium than regular acting.
Different realm.
Yeah, you're playing a fictional character. That's your talent. That is the way you get jobs, is by being able to do and play anyone and anything. And if you start limiting that, it's going to open up a whole can of worms of where people can't play, do this. People can't do this. Different cartoons not having the best.
Let me be next.
The best of the talent.
Hold on, James. Hold on.
I'm just saying the best of the talent, because like when I think of Cleveland, just specifically, that dude is Cleveland. There was a reason that Seth MacFarlane probably went, hey, this is my buddy and he's going to nail this. I can't picture anyone else doing this voice.
And it's not bad.
No, it's not bad. That's that character.
It's not offensive. He is who he is. It's
right. I never once ever watched that show and said that he's making that voice specifically for a black male. He's making that voice for a dorky, fat dad, suburban dad. Like, that's the voice he's doing.
Yeah.
He just so happens to be black.
He just so happens to.
Right.
So happens.
It's taking it in a direction, a medium that I didn't never crossed my mind with the movement that is happening, and it's great that it's happening, but that's not something that I didn't expect to happen out of nowhere. And now that it's moving forward with it, the more I think about it, though, not a lot of voice actors have said anything about it. Only a few.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it won't change it too much.
Yeah.
Maybe people will just still keep taking roles because that's what voice acting is, and you need jobs. Like I was saying, I can't remember the dude's name from the 90s. Like, he's one of the biggest voice actors ever. But he was literally, if you think of any cartoon that you watched back in the 90s, he was probably in it and probably did like 6 of the voices.
Billy West?
Yeah.
Yes.
And he did everything. And could you imagine back in the 90s someone being like, well, you can't play that?
Yeah.
Or him being like, I can't play that.
You go back into that, and like with, I think what everyone will agree with, a lot of like your people who aren't, like I like to play a lot of devil's advocacy here because I have so much to branch off of what I can or cannot do now, if this is a thing. But with that being said, with the Billy West, is he's not, it's a representation as far as the character is. It's like, as some of us know, three of the 4 of us know, Mr. McMoney calls me the normal villain. I can assume a character of a redneck from Fayette County, and I can pop the I can pop the N-word up and down, and it's one of the funniest things you'll hear from the redneck that's a fuckhead. You know what I mean? It's a guy who doesn't know what the fuck is up and is ignorant to it. That's it's playing a character.
Yeah.
It's the animation aspect of it is like if we're going to not let a creator of something have an idea, that's the satire of The Simpsons. Like, we have Hank Azaria stepping down as Apu, which, as Shawn, we spoke, me, you, and Corey spoke, and you're right. Like, the fucking Simpsons earlier on, it's a different time. The conservatives of the world want to be like, oh, it's a different time. The people who want to keep Confederate statues say, oh, it's a different time. It's our history. But it is a dark spot on the history. So with that, with the role of Hank Azaria playing Apu, it's all in context, like you said, Shawn, the other night. It's how it's being delivered. And if it's in a derogatory way, it's different. But, like, there are so many ways to play a character. You know, when it's like with the controversy over the mental health issue with the Joker.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and I'm not negating the movement of Black Lives Matter, but what about mental health issue?
Where they're saying it's basically like...
And like, they're promoting he being a murderous guy. No, it's like, don't push people who can't... You don't celebrate the fact of it. Where I'm at with it, with like not using your talent at this point, can we not? It's like, why should we? I think he may be dead by now, but the fellow in Police Academy that can make inanimate objects make sounds. It's like, you're not a siren.
Michael Winslow.
You're not a siren. You're not a siren. Why would you make the sound of siren?
I don't know.
You can do it. Here's the thing. It's not it. Listen.
That's what it's taking it not farther than it has to, but
then it has to.
It's kind of.
That's my devil's advocacy. I'm not trying to be like crazy on that. But at this point, if we go to where you can't do this or that because you can, why am I slapping the bass?
Virgins.
The wall? There you go.
What'd you say?
No, I was going to say Shawn's speaking.
Oh, sorry.
The
said virgins?
The divergence here is the conscious decision by a voice actor to pass on roles. The enforcement of, public uproar is not where we're at, because these people that we've all spoken about are people that have stepped down. If you told Phil Lamar to step down from Samurai Jack because Samurai Jack is Japanese, you go, who the hell else is going to be Samurai Jack?
What are dub actors too?
Exactly. You know? Who's going to play Goku?
Oh,
right.
Don't even.
What are dub actors? So that's in that respect. What's the difference? I want to know. I'm not trying to be a dick, but what is the difference in the creative aspect of it?
It's not necessarily in the creative aspect. It's the enforcement of such things. If you had someone, if there's an uprising, you take note. But these people are doing this on their own accord. Yeah,
that's a big difference right there. Is that they are doing it.
Okay, so like, why are we talking about this then? We all agree.
I don't know. That's what I said. As soon as Shawn spoke that first time, I was like, oh, everything that I wanted to say is now like null and void.
But here's the thing. Okay, well then let's totally switch the fucking comment, which is what I think this is the point of, is are we in a fucking race war? Because I don't want to fucking do that. I love all my friends who are people.
Well, that's kind of what Shawn just said about a movement, though. I had
like who do we have to fight?
Well, you're looking at it
government, right?
Yeah,
like I don't want to fight with each other. We don't have to talk about who can play what or who can voice who.
It should be
it's just anybody that can do it within the means that is not derogatory toward any sort of demographic or person. What in the fuck happened to being a goddamn human and not watching someone die in front of you or whatever? Like, that's where I'm at with this. I'm sorry, this is all of it coming to a head. I'm sick of, like, people wearing their masks wrong or wearing them fucking ironically.
Because everyone's looking from an individualistic aspect.
Or being like, all lives matter. Fuck you, man. We all are here.
But everyone's looking it from an individual aspect. I've had to say this to multiple people in conversations lately who are saying the same thing that you're saying they're saying. They say, like, well, you know, this, that, and the other, and I go, yeah, but you're looking at it from just your perspective. You're looking at it from what you've seen, what you've experienced, and you're not caring about the whole. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that's...
And I'm not saying that the voice acting has anything to do with that, but at the same time, if like Shawn said, if this movement is broadening to a spectrum that people are thinking about it in their daily lives and their daily jobs, and they're going, hey, maybe there is a struggling black voice actor out there who could play this part better than I could and represent it better.
Well, that's an interesting.
That is a good point.
That's an interesting topic that I want to actually start here. Now, with people stepping down from roles that they don't feel comfortable playing, this obviously opens up a huge door for some very talented people that have gone overlooked throughout the years. And I mean, we all have to. I mean, I would hope that we would all have to agree that that's a great thing for the industry as a whole. Yeah. You know, to have roles opening up for people, to have, you know, and I bring it up now in an upcoming Marvel movie, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. It's about an Asian superhero, and they went out and they got an Asian actor rather than saying, "Oh, look, hey, it's Scarlett Johansson, and she's a..."
Or Iron Fist? Oh God.
Yeah, you know, and so I think, but I think that that's a great thing. I think it's awesome that we're gonna have a lot of roles opening up for people that are, you know, are going to be able to play them, and it means something to them to portray a person, you know, and it could mean something to somebody watching it. Yeah.
Well, and sorry, go ahead.
I
feel like I've spoken too much.
No, I was gonna say that I think it's just a change. Like, a lot of people don't like times to change because they're used to things, and maybe animation is that for me. Maybe that's why that weirdly struck a chord with me, because I'm like, it doesn't need to change. But if we're moving into a different time and moving into a different headspace, then bring it on. Let's get used to it.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shawn, please, yes, go ahead. I see it.
Okay, so as someone who, I can't say that I've been at every protest. I can't say that I've been, fight for this civil rights thing as vehemently as I wish I did. However, the unfortunate circumstance that we are facing with this movement is that these are not things that we have asked for. These are all things that are voluntary. However, because these fall within this time frame of these things happening concurrently, you have Aunt Jemima's getting taken away, and they're removing episodes.
Uncle Ben.
Yeah, Uncle Ben. You're removing episodes from Netflix and Hulu.
Golden Girl.
Yeah, Golden Girls.
Yeah, that Golden Girl one. That's on the fence.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. I just had to throw that in there.
That's a weird one. I don't know.
Because there is nothing justifying blackface. They have mud masks on. But
right.
What most people will, because these things all fall in the same scope. These things are happening at the same time. Netflix is removing this. Black Lives Matter is happening at the same time. Those are nothing that we are asking for. Nothing at all. They're doing this of their own accord. The pressure from the movement, stop murdering black people.
Right.
We're not asking for voice actors to change. That is the morality of the voice actor themselves.
Right. That's woke. That's what woke is.
So seeing those from the same scope, you have to peel those things apart. And that's the unfortunate thing, is that a lot of people are going to take it from the individualistic standpoint of, well, wait, Black Lives Matter's taking away Aunt Jemima? Fuck. But that is not the case at all, and that is not our cause.
No, never once
Well, and
did it ever seem like that's what it was being fought for?
I have a sincere question for you, Shawn. Like,
Please.
and I know I can't be grouped with you, but you are a friend of mine, and I love you. And you say our cause, but why is it not my cause as well?
No, it's funny that you mentioned that.
If I can help in any way, if any of white America who wants to help the movement, I feel like there is a little bit of slow your roll from the movement. Just a little bit. You know what I mean? You do recognize that.
Absolutely.
And that kind of, to be honest, it almost deters me a little bit, because I'm like, if you want me to fucking help, I will. But if you don't, then okay, I'll just sit here idly. You know, and I don't want to take the back or the easy way out. But it's a humanity movement, and I'm not negating the movement, but why can't we all? That's the other thing with, like, you've been to Europe. It's completely fucking different in the rest of the world. What we're talking about, not in the rest of the world, but in many European countries. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're not like an African German. You're a German. You know what I mean? Because those are laws in America. The distinguishing that came out before, it's not even laws. It's like the social roles with segregation. It continues to, it all trickles down. And with segregation, you separated people. So all of your boomers or whatever, or people who are super old, they're like, they feel like there's that separation. And I'm not condoning that. But it's ingrained in their way of life. So my thing is anything with the movement, like with, you say, people stepping down, that is a part of it. There's no, because I came into this being like, man, I'm going to have to like talk about the negatives of like the voice acting or whatever, but we just got on this and it's like, there's nothing negative about any of it.
Right.
So when you really, anything is something in a positive way. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to make that sound like a cop-out, but it's like, I'm kind of at a loss for words.
I was going to say, you could let him answer your question from...
Yeah, go ahead.
So I believe that's in two parts, and that was what, deterrence to begin with,
right?
And the second part, the macrocosm of such things,
right?
Okay, so to speak to the deterrence, allyship is not something. Allyship is a learned trait, a learned characteristic. It is a skill, because. 1619 was the first, slave ship here. It is not necessary. The reason you feel deterred is that I can't speak for all, but for the most part, it is not my job to educate you on what you need to know, what you need to feel, and what you need to think. Those are things that you need to discern for yourself. However, on your journey to allyship, it's difficult to discern when someone is, gosh, how do I even put that? When someone wants to jump into it but doesn't know how, and then someone that thinks that they're helping. So a lot of people are in the spectrum of, I don't need to tell you what we're fighting for. Look into it yourself. Whereas because you're a brother to me, I would gladly, any question you had, I would answer as honestly and purely as I could. When it comes to the macrocosm of things, there are varying levels of your comprehension and the varying levels of want. Where I've seen I'm sure that I've had you stand up for me and say, yo, Shawn's black, you can't say that. Or there are people that are wondering, well, why are these voice actors stepping down? What is it that you want? There is no, just as much as there's this wave of people claiming Antifa is this, there's an ideal where people, the comprehension isn't there.
Like, you just don't want a normalcy and equality.
Equality is the goal.
Right.
As far as, I mean, and that would, from any human, I mean, you
right.
look at
exactly
the Jewish exodus, you look at, whenever you were speaking on there aren't German Africans, one of the huge problems there is that, I'll take Sweden as an example, because of the Arab Spring from 2011 to now, those people are still outsiders, so they aren't Germans, they aren't Swedes. So they're fighting a very similar fight, but their fight is much, much newer. And,
True.
But you can see those parallels where we just want to be people. However, theirs is 9 years old. We're sitting on 400 years of not being people. And you can trace the lineage to what, Selma was 63, 65. Ferguson was just 2016.
Yeah.
These are things that are not, they're not new. And I hate seeing, I mean, I love to see the empowerment in people where there is this, be glad we're only asking for equality and not revenge. But look at what happened to Malcolm X. Look at what happened to Huey. Look at what happened to those people that tried to fight harder.
Mm-hmm.
But what's very interesting about this dynamic now is that it's not just us now. If I were to go to a protest tomorrow and I said, James, I'm in the city, I know you would be walking right there next to me.
Fuck yeah, man.
I know that all of you would.
Hell yeah.
Because it's humanity.
Because I was gonna, just when you were asking, James, like, what can you do? I, from my perspective of what I do during this or whatever, is just, I am doing the same thing that I did, except when something is happening, I am, hold on, babe, I am with it. You know what I mean? Like, I stand behind it, but I don't, I've seen a lot of people say don't speak for them. You know what I mean? Like, stand with them, but don't speak like it's yours. It's yours.
It's
you
not,
know what I mean?
because
like,
it isn't. And that's the thing, because I'm a person with words. I like to use my words.
And that's hard,
you know.
But
it is hard because then I can't. So that's where I get.
Just stand with your brother.
Absolutely.
Trait that you must learn on your own.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and we know it. We know it because that's how. There. You guys are all this. We're all friends. We've all been friends for, like, I've never ever thought of.
We've all done drugs together.
We've all done drugs together. I've never.
What the fuck are you talking about right
What's
now,
a
man?
drug?
I have no idea.
It's hard to think in the perspective of someone who doesn't think of anyone differently. I think that's maybe kind of your trouble, James, is you don't think of Shawn any differently or any other black person.
Okay, perfectly.
So you feel a little bit personally attacked?
Because I'm like, why?
Because you're like,
what the
I don't
fuck is your
I've
problem?
always been this way. But that's not the whole. That's what I said. That's the individualistic, looking at it from an individualistic. Either, like, that's my family. My whole family is like, well, I treat black people perfectly fine, so why do I have to fight, you know? but that's it's as a whole. That's why it's a movement. So if you can support, then you support. That's about it. I mean, you just stand behind them.
Yeah.
There's the unfortunate gray area.
Or more in front of. At this point.
You don't know what you're capable of, and where is that line where am I overstepping a boundary? And that's why I keep going back to there are plenty of resources where you can find, like, how can I be a good ally? And it's something as simple as, do I need to be a listener, or do I need to be active in my defense of my friend's belief, my friend's existence?
Yeah.
Like,
our podcast is our activeness. I feel like I've stood behind every other aspect of this, but I feel like our podcast has been our personal outlet of us being vocal.
Right. It's a great point. It's awesome to be able to sit here with you guys and really discuss the world and what's going on in it, and to bring awareness and to bring different ideas to different people. I think that's, it's a great plus for all of us sitting here.
Yeah, and anyone listening.
Yeah.
Anyone who's been thinking, well, why would a voice actor step down from Cleveland? I love Cleveland. And they just listened to this and they went.
Yeah. Mike Henry is the actor, the name of the actor who voiced Cleveland. And I want to kind of break back into what we were talking about before and discuss a little bit about Mike Henry. That's 20 years that he voiced that character, a very iconic character in modern television.
We got a fucking spinoff.
Yeah, he got a spinoff. Even Quagmire didn't get a spinoff, but who would want to watch that?
I mean, that's for Pornhub.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's Daily Motion stuff.
That's for the Me Too movement.
There we go.
Sorry, I had to do it. I apologize.
There's the funny.
I had to.
There's the funny.
My brain.
So there's an
That's
actor,
how my brain.
Wendell Pierce, has come forward and said that he is very much interested in taking up the role as Cleveland. And I think it's awesome. I'm pulling up Wendell Pierce right now. I'm sure he's been in things that we've all seen a million times. Here we go. Oh, he was in Bulworth. Bulworth is one of my favorite movies. If you've never seen Bulworth,
it's a great
please
soundtrack.
Watch it.
It's great.
Soundtrack. Amazing soundtrack.
Such a great soundtrack.
He was in Malcolm X with Denzel Washington. He was in Ray. Horrible Bosses. I know that's like to say Ray and then Horrible Bosses. That's really not doing him justice. But he was in Selma.
I don't think that's
Hosea
him.
Williams in Selma. Is it kind of? It's awesome to see that. To see him and then to see Seth MacFarlane say like, yeah, like that's cool. Like that's fine.
Can I just say, if he nails it, I'm sorry.
That's a great point. Are these characters going to change?
I'm all for if you want to step back and you want the race of the character to step in, that's great. But you got to nail it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great point.
I wouldn't think like, who the fuck else is gonna play me in our narrative? Like, think about it though. You know what I mean?
Who plays Jay? Jason Mewes.
There you go.
Oh yes,
He'd
go.
probably play me.
Right now, I'm pretty sure if we put him in your chair and put everything that you're wearing on him, you would never know the difference.
Right on it, right?
You never know the difference. I'm gonna make a phone call. This week. We're gonna get Jason Mewes to sit in next to me.
That would be fucking amazing.
We're gonna get that. We're gonna make that happen. Probably not though. So
Are we moving out of the heavy now?
Yeah, let's move out of the heavy. Well, we got We got some more heavy to talk about.
Oh, more heavy. Yes.
Bring it.
Yeah, but
I gotta
it's
go
not-
pee, and I don't know that. I'm a little. I probably do,
You don't know how to pee?
but I don't. No, you're
Okay.
next, heavy. You're talking about deaths, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we've got a little bit of sad news to report. On the 22nd of June, director Joel Schumacher passed away. He passed away from cancer.
Bat nips.
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't know who that is,
I've got
Shawn
all
or
his
James.
movies. I've got everything he directed right here, and let's just go through some things. St. Elmo's Fire, great 80s movie. The Lost Boys.
Oh, I didn't know he did The Lost Boys.
He directed The Lost
Nice.
Boys. He directed Batman Forever.
Bat nips.
He directed A Time to Kill, which is a great movie, kind of about exactly based around what we're talking
Right.
about.
Oh, dude, that. Yeah.
And Matthew McConaughey credits Joel Schumacher with kind of launching the next stage of his career by casting him in that movie. And he kills it in that.
Yeah. No, that's a good one.
Batman and Robin, 8mm, Phone Booth, The Number 23, The Phantom of the Opera. I mean,
Man.
I didn't know he did
these
the
are all
number
great
23.
movies.
That's crazy.
yeah,
Good career for sure.
Who would ever have known that Bat nips did number 23?
Number 23, one of the best Jim Carrey movies, one of the most underrated Jim Carrey movies.
Oh, absolutely.
That was his turn. That was where he was
Yeah.
like, I won't be typecast anymore. Like,
Right. Just very, a great career. But he has been inactive. The last movie he directed was 2013.
Well, he's fucking old and had cancer. What the fuck you think he was gonna do, man?
Well, and speaking of old, our next, the next person we're going to discuss, yesterday on Monday, Carl Reiner passed away at the age of 98.
Wow.
Carl Reiner, hey, if you don't know who he is, where have you been for the
Right.
past 60,
33
70
years.
years?
What's his son's name?
Rob Reiner.
Yeah,
Rob
I feel like
Reiner-
I feel like Rob Reiner's a little bit more
I think Rob
accessible.
Reiner is more famous to our generation.
right.
And then Carl Reiner was
Carl
more
Reiner
famous
was what?
to
Dick Van Dyke.
he created the Dick Van Dyke Show. Mary
that, Shawn?
Tyler Moore. He directed The Jerk with Steve Martin.
Oh, okay.
He was a screenwriter on the comic. He was in the movie Ocean's 12, Ocean's 11, why did I say Ocean's 12 first? What is that? That's weird. He was in Toy Story 4. He played Carl Rhinoceros. I mean,
Oh, he's the pink rhino.
yep. So it's
On comedy, on part. I mean, wrote with Mel Brooks. So anything
Yeah.
laughed at in the past 60 years, we basically credit to his humor.
yeah.
Well, and that's another thing. Sorry, I'm gonna go back to heavy. You just mentioned Mel Brooks, Shawn.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with those movies, right?
No.
Like Blazing Saddles. There's nothing wrong with that.
Because of the approach he took.
Exactly. So that's the thing with all of that. It's a contextual thing.
Absolutely.
So I feel badly that, I guess my point, reflecting on what I said before, my point is I feel badly for the voice actors that had to feel so badly that they took the role because of the way it was written. Because nobody in Blazing Saddles was like, oh, I feel bad about that. Because it was just funny. It's the camaraderie of that, like, dynamic.
Right. And pressing the envelope in the best possible way.
Look at Dave Chappelle.
exactly.
He is one of the most perfect examples of that. His last Netflix.
It was pretty good.
846.
When he says, before I start, I want to get a little serious and be like, Tony Bourdain killed himself. So then that just led for, he gave the synopsis of his life, and then he opened up on all of that. It's the satire of how you deliver it. And that's the worst part of it, is that the demographic of America has accepted all of that. You know what I mean? I'm sorry to get heavy again, but that was kind of an auxiliary thought of mine. There's no reason. There are good ways to approach the humor of all situations.
Always look on the bright side of life, James.
For a negative person who always looks at the negative of everything.
That's me. Fuck you.
Hey, I calls them as I sees them.
Yeah, you're right. But no, like, the Mel Brooks stuff is a prime example of how you can take a bad thing and make everybody just feel better about it, but also acknowledge it.
Yeah.
You acknowledge it, and you don't even feel better about it. You can, like, you get that little chuckle, like, this is so fucking stupid that's the bad side of it. That's my normal villain character. I like to play the redneck that hates everybody. It hates gay people. It hates black people. But it's the novelty of knowing how fucking stupid that ideal is. You know what I mean? Like, so that's, I guess, going back to the voice actor thing, I wish there were more like animated series who showed characters voiced by people who aren't that, making fun of people who are that. Like, you make fun of a redneck, you make fun of a crackhead, because nobody likes a crackhead that's fucking stabbing you and taking your money. Nobody likes a redneck who's racist and homophobic. So you can play those characters so long as it's contextually okay.
Yes.
As far as movies go, you ask Corey, Zev, what it shouldn't go away. You just have to make sure it's right. You know what I mean?
There you go. And on that note, we're going to say
what
a nice
happening?
goodbye. We're going to say goodbye to Joel Schumacher and Carl Reiner, two characters and people, and that have given us a lot of enjoyment over the years. And their lives should be celebrated. Carl Reiner, 98.
Damn.
I mean, which one of us
That's a while.
Which one of us is more likely to make it to 98?
Corey.
I'd say Corey too.
Corey.
Nailed it.
Yeah, right. Now I'm screwed.
Yeah. We gotta get like a pact going. We gotta put like $100 each into an envelope. Last person who's alive gets it. I think that's appropriate.
I need
poops
$400. I need $400 in 2043.
You're not even gonna be close to getting $400. You're gonna be the last person that's likely to.
No,
get
I'm gonna be the first one that dies.
Isn't your birthday? Your birthday's in 7 days, right?
Yes, it is. 1 week.
So you got
from
7
today.
days, and then you got to pony up because you're gone.
Right.
That I forgot.
There it is.
I can't, Shawn. Is there any way you can turn is there like a volume on your microphone?
On your mic, yeah, because you're kind of low.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait.
I'm not sure if there is or not. If not, then it's fine.
This is the best that I've got. My
Okay.
apologies.
No, you're good then.
He gets louder.
I want to bring back a segment that we used to do, the Strange of the Week. Corey, I want you to tell us about astronauts and what they've been finding out there in space, buddy.
So, I mean, black holes in space. All right, let me get that out of the way so we don't get all weird and like make fun of me sexually. Have been like a weird obsession of mine since I was younger.
Oh, see now
Exactly.
if you would have
Yeah,
added
there
that
you
at
go.
the beginning,
Don't get it started.
But they're just interesting. We don't know a lot about them. You can't see them. We try to study them. We know they're out there, but we don't know a lot about them. And everybody, it's kind of like common knowledge that like light can't escape a black hole. It's so dense.
It's too quick. It takes everything away.
Right. Until this past week, astronomers in California, I think, believe that they witnessed the merge of two major black holes slamming into one another. And it was so intense that it created and emitted light, which is the opposite of anything that we've ever seen or ever known about a black hole.
That's scary.
I thought that was amazing.
Are black holes being used by alien civilizations to generate energy, thus creating Death Stars to kill us all? Could that be a thing? I'm not off board, that's for sure.
I thought it was pretty sick. That it's just the opposite of anything that I've ever learned about black holes, and the fact that, you know, getting better at actually finding them and spotting them over the past 30 years, to know that the two that you've been watching for a while now actually like merged.
Yeah.
Has to be just like being on this topic of what we're talking about today, and just thinking of ourselves as such a you know, a high priority in our minds, because we are the center of the universe to ourselves. But to think about the fucking astronomical collision of two black holes that just happened while all this stuff is happening in our lives. Can you imagine? I don't even know how to scope that.
There is no real scope. I actually was, before you even said that, I was going to be like, but think about the fact that, like, you watch these black holes as they are, and they aren't even as they are as you see them.
No.
So what you saw that had happened is so far done.
Oh yeah, it happened years ago.
That's their, like, I'm going to say it because I'm drunk. But, like, at that point, there is not a single fucking human life on this goddamn planet that fucking matters.
No, we all don't matter in this case.
Yeah.
Like, I matter to myself, and I love you guys so much, but, like, man, I'm not worth a goddamn thing.
Very true.
I mean,
we disagree, but we know, James. We know.
You know my point.
Yes.
My point is that there is so much bigger than voice actors or movies or me being, but, like, I can't even really play music. I'm far too fucked up to do it anytime I do it anyhow. To actually do it, I think that I can.
But these are the things that we've created.
That's what I think I want to do. So when we get into black holes colliding and creating the light, like, if we're getting into the science of that.
All right, so hold on.
It should absorb it. Yeah, please.
Because I have the article right here.
Oh, nice.
Got some facts. We're going to go through some things. Bear with me. On on the 21st of May in 2019, the LIGO and Virgo gravitational wave observatories detected a pair of black holes merging somewhere in the universe. No flash was seen at that time. 34 days after the gravitational wave detection, they were looking towards a point in the galaxy, and they saw light coming from a distant galaxy called J1249. It's an active galaxy with a supermassive black hole in its heart. So let's think about that.
See, that's just even more fucked up.
Well, let's think about the fact that this occurred in a galaxy very far away. That could have been our galaxy.
Every galaxy technically is swirling around a supermassive black hole.
Right.
That's what is our galaxy. That's why it's spinning. We're all collapsing in on ourselves.
Well, isn't that? But no, we're also ever expanding.
The
because
universe,
we're the goddamn
is
universe.
Yes, but the galaxies in the universe are actually falling in on themselves.
Yeah. That's very scary to think about. Matthew McConaughey was right in the movie Interstellar. Turns out
we're all going to be stuck in bookshelves at some point.
Yeah, I'm like Shawn, read Mega Tokyo for the second time. The second thousand.
Shawn, here's the issue of Hustler from March 1988. Have fun. Send it off the bookshelf.
Bask in the hair that it is.
Shawn, let me hear what you have to think about black holes. Is that something that you actively think about?
It is. Because I think a lot about CERN.
Right.
To
create one.
Right.
The super collider.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you kids are familiar, but there was an incident in, I believe, 2016 where I believe it was a squirrel or a weasel or some rodent of some sort that got into things, and there is a prolific, or I should say prevalent, belief that everything has been backwards ever since.
That feels about right.
Right. I mean, just as much as, we had our 2012, freak out and everything, just as much as we had our 2000 freak out. I hate to lean on the verge of conspiracy, but things have been evolving at such a rate that it is hard to discredit these things.
Damn squirrels.
You called me the negative one. What the fuck, man? But I agree completely with you. It's like there has been so much progress.
And on the inverse,
up until about that point. And here we go. We have so much. I can grab my phone and I'll just text you, or I can literally fucking FaceTime all of you right now while I'm already FaceTiming. There's so much, and we wouldn't have thought that could happen in 2001. It was cool that we could talk and play video games at the same time at that point.
All you gotta do is look at Back to the Future in 2015.
Oh yeah.
We're not wearing goggles. We're not eating grapes that came out of the ceiling. We're not nuking little Pizza Hut pizzas and making them big.
Crispin
Glover is still Crispin Glover. He's not some other actor.
That is one of my favorite episodes of the Strange Planet podcast. Was when we did the Back to the Future 2 episode.
Yeah. We did do it on the day.
We did it on the day.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Strange Planet podcast. You could give a like, a share, a subscribe. Thumbs up, comment. You could follow all of us.
Or
Twitter.
Or you could fuck right off.
That too.
I mean, you could
do that.
If you want to, but we want you to stay.
No, yeah, we want the people to hang out with us, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Strangest Planet podcast. We have been your host. This has been
Corey James
and
James May.
and I'm Anthony Zevoteck, and this has been our special guest. This has been Shawn Kelly. Hey, be nice to each other, love each other, wear your mask out in public, and have a strange day.
Have a strange day.